Hey guys, it's Theresa Robertson with Rich Summit View, and this is part 2 of how to get more bookings. So, on our first video, we talked a little bit about starting a Facebook group. Which kind of Facebook group to start? Let me get my notes here up to the side. All right, so we talked about opening a Facebook account. If you don't have one, do a business page and also do a professional page. Pick your niche that you want to focus on, and also know the people that come to your vacation rental know who they are. So for example, my vacation rental, the majority of the people that come there are over 40, and that's who I market to. When you start your group, you're going to have your rules. So definitely watch video number 1. So let's dive a little bit more into video 1 and get more into the weeds on that and how that works. So I'm going to share my screen with you. This will take just a second. All right. So what I did with my group is I have named it Blue Ridge Mountain Vacation Rentals by Owners. These are my rules. You can make up your own rules for however you want to do yours. To be specific, I want direct bookings. I don't want Airbnb, VRBO style links or any property links that go to a property manager that charges a booking fee. I love my property manager. I love them. But I'm trying to find another channel of bookings, okay? And so we do the direct booking of the OTAs, online travel agents, right? We do any bookings directly through the property manager. And then I try to find direct bookings without all of those fees and then send them to my property manager. So this is not about shunning a different way of getting bookings. It's about adding to how you're getting bookings, okay? So what we personally do is I do have a web page or our own web presence. However, that is something that needs to be reworked. So it's something that I need to start working on little by little in order to change that website, because it's about 4 years old now. And if you're not changing those websites and refreshing them every couple of years, they really do start to look stale. So it's time for us to redo those, but it's also time for us to stay in the cabin. It's also time for us to do some landscaping. So this is kind of a transitional 18 months for us, I would say, between all of the things that we want to do to the cabin, the website, and a few other projects that we have brewing. So this is why I'm working on this side of it, in order to just kind of how they say that, eat the elephant one bite at a time. So anyways, so the route that I chose for the Facebook group is I went with a private group. Okay, you can do public, you can do private, you could do secret. I don't want it to be a secret, I just want it to be private. So I don't want visitors to be able to drop in the group and be able to make comments. I just want this group to be private for people that have either A, been invited, or B, they found the group, but unless they're actually in the group, they can't read or comment on any of the posts. That does help cut down on spammers. What we do in the group is I make sure to ask 3 questions. And let me pull these questions up for you, because I think this is so important. And I'm sure these membership questions could be done a little bit differently, but this is what we do and why. Number 1, the question is, are you a vacation rental owner anywhere near the Blue Ridge Parkway? And if they are, yes, I want them to PM me for a direct link to our owners group. So that's the second group that I have, okay? And I'll tell you in a minute why we have the owners group. And then if they're not an owner, then they click renter, okay? So that's super simple. So it's not really a way of vetting their actual like who they are, but it is a way of trying to determine, are they a renter or an owner? Okay. And from that point on, if they say they're an owner, then I can contact them directly and get a little bit more information. Secondly, would you like an email of the specials and local things that we do? So trying to grow that newsletter. This is key, because if you guys do VRBO and Airbnb, if somebody makes an inquiry, you do not get the email address, right? You just get the inquiry from John Smith, right? But you don't know their phone number or their email address. So with them joining this group here, I get the email address, I can gather that and then put that into a spreadsheet and then send that over to MailChimp and do our newsletters from there. Okay. So, and then the third thing is, before this, I kind of want to know where they came from. And this is a way to in order to try to get rid of the bots or get rid of people that we don't want in the group because they're trying to do scammy type of things, or maybe they have bots or something like that. They can't answer this question typically. So unless you're somebody that is actually reading these and knows how to answer these questions, if they answer that question wrong, then we typically know that they're a faker. That doesn't mean that they're not a scammer, but that typically means that they're not somebody that we want in the group. So those are the three that we do. And of course, I do have the group rules, which is just the Facebook basics. Okay. And then as member requests come in, I look over the member requests. I don't want to pull any up because I don't want you seeing the names or anything because I haven't vetted any of them. But I can kind of show you what we do. Let's see. For example, I can show you on my own account. So if I was to pull up my own account as a customer to the group or as a new person into the group, I would look on my laptop and see what is the name of their Facebook page. In my case, it is Theresa C. Robertson. Okay. If it has that PHP and then like a string of about 15 numbers, that typically means that they're a very brand new account. And the other thing on the group we do is we do not want anybody to join the group that has been a Facebook account that's any younger than that had the account at least 2 years, in other words. So that is one thing that we do. Do admin assist. You can go in there and check how old the group has to be in order to be able to join. So at least 2 years old, not the group, excuse me, the person that wants to join. So anyways, I would look at the person's account, and sometimes these are locked down, so you can't see a lot about the people. But essentially, I do have some personal pictures here, right? I do have my friends list showing, and if you look at them, they look like all legitimate, just everyday people, right? Scroll through the pictures and photos, and it just looks like somebody that just has a regular Facebook page. Whereas some of the scammers, they look like they have pictures that are just copied of everybody's perfect life, the perfect family picture, the perfect car, the perfect whatever. And then they just seem to have that. That's all they seem to have on their profiles. So that usually kind of tells you something's up. Also have 1,000 followers and 899 that I'm following. So it tells you that this is a pretty active account. So that's just how I try to vet people. There are a few other ways too, but this is the basic that I look for. All right, so let's go back over to Facebook. All righty. Now in my group, I do watch for activity. Let's see if we could show you real quick. Engagement. This is what I'm looking for. So in the group, so it's going back 28 days. I'm looking to watch our busy days. And then remember that second group I told you about that was just for owners? We have the second group, and what we do there is I will go into the owners group. Let me pull that up for you. I go into the owners group. Now, this is a private group, but I should probably actually mark it as secret. Even though you can see the name right now, I do not let anybody in the group that I haven't personally invited. If I haven't personally invited them and they click on this group and they go into the member request, they don't get into the group. Because if I've personally invited them, then they came through the other group and we've talked and I've gotten some information from them. So in this particular owners group, we talk about everything from how to do maintenance, where do you get your housekeeper from, what are your favorite sheets, what kind of vacuum do you like, all the way up to, your contracts, the legal stuff, different places we go to get information and leads. So it's really just a true owners group. The second thing the other thing that I do in the group is I make sure to tell the group, hey, I'm seeing a lot of activity in the main group. You guys should be over there posting. You should be doing thumbs up, heart, like, everything in order to really get that engagement up, and it helps the group grow faster. So you do have to stay active in your group. You do have to provide value in order to get your group to grow, and it will take time. This group has been growing since I think I started it in January of 20, right before COVID, and then did nothing with it for about 6 months. Because of course we didn't know what was going on with the world, right? And vacation rentals were shut down for the most part. And then really in, I think June of 20 is when I started trying to ramp that group up and grow it. And we are almost up to 4,800 people, which I think is great. I really wanted to be to 10,000 by now. So we have a long way to go. But I've been very fortunate to have other people invite their entire member list or their friends list, and we've been able to grow it like that. The other thing I do is I run some type of sweepstakes or something every couple years. This year, we're going to do the flip waffle maker, which we did before. And what we're doing with that is anybody that has opened the newsletter, you can join, but if you haven't opened the newsletter, then you don't get a chance to win the flip waffle maker. So they will have to join the newsletter and open it within the last 5 newsletters that I've sent out. And then, of course, that shows engagement, that shows an activity with MailChimp. That's who I use, is MailChimp, and helps that email be legitimate. It doesn't look like spam email because we have actual engagement. And that also helps us grow the newsletter. So getting over to the newsletter and how I collect that information, I do that a couple ways. When they join, like I said, I have the 3 questions. So I automatically go in, and I'm not going to pull that up right now because it has actual name and email addresses on it. So of course I just put it in standard spreadsheet. I'm sure you guys know what a spreadsheet looks like. And then secondly, I use Google Forms in order to collect some of the email addresses and information. And what I do there is I take the link. Let me move this screen out of the way so I can show you the link. So if I was going to send this, the page will come up for the link. You just copy the link and then paste that in the Facebook group and tell people to join it. So a lot of people kind of get skeptical when you want them to click on a link. So I typically include a video of what is being requested of them or the renter. And that is, of course, their email address, their first name, their last name, the top 3 cities that they would like to rent. Now, remember, if you're not in a mountain town, maybe you want to do something like, maybe if you're in ski area, you can talk about different things around the ski slopes. What do you like to do? Maybe you have maybe you're out in Washington, you have a lot of rainy weather, like what to do on rainy days. What are the things that you like to do? So for us, it would be the top 3 cities you like to rent for a mountain getaway. What do you like to do when you come to the mountains? And then one of the really most important questions for us as vacation rental owners is, what do you look for most in a vacation rental? So if everybody says price, then, that's going to be that information I'm going to give to our owners and say, look, this is really what's driving everybody's price. But what's funny is it's not price. We have 289 answers on this particular spreadsheet. I've done a couple of others because we have, over the entire group, we have almost 1,800 people that have signed up for the newsletter. So this is just the current page that I'm working on. So the majority of people, they say that they're looking for a view. So I thought that was very interesting. So here's, let's see if we can get over the responses here. Let's go all the way down the bottom. And I'll show you guys right there. 25% view, 22% is an area that you can do many things on day trips. And then 21.5% is the price. So it's the 3rd most popular thing, which just blew my mind. I figured everybody would say price. So anyways, now let's talk about some other things that we do. So in talking with a vacation rental owner today, she has a home that sleeps 22. And we were trying to go over some tips and tricks on what somebody with a very large house might do other than lower their days that they would accept a booking for. So they were talking about going from 3 days down to 2. And I said, well, you could do that, but what about trying to reach out to other businesses? So who would those be? If you have a large house like that, but you don't want parties, then I would say reach out to maybe some of the wedding companies and find out, do they have people coming in for weddings? A lot of families that would like to stay together, not have a party there, and none of that, but just families meeting there and all staying together. And so event companies that have an event on their site, but again, all the people want to stay together, definitely reach out to those kind of companies. Maybe your outfitters, if you're in an area like mine where you have people that do hiking, people that do fly fishing, that kind of thing. You have these groups of people, church groups, men's groups, women's groups, whatever, that come to town that do some of these different local events, and they would all like to stay together. What a great time you could have with 22 people all under one roof, right? So that would be a great thing for people to do, is to reach out to local business owners and find out where you can work together in order to grow both of your businesses. The other thing is, for example, she had a church group that came in, and they were wonderful. They came in and did all the things that they were going to do on their retreat, and they had this total cleanup package on, not a package, but a list of how they were going to be handling everything there. They left the place just in fantastic condition. So essentially, you could go back to that same group and say, if you guys want to do another retreat, or maybe you have a men's retreat that you would like to come to our place. So reach out to the church and maybe find out, is there another group at your place that would like to stay? We would love to host you. Then think about where your guests come from. For me, up in Boone, North Carolina, most of our guests come within about 2.5 hours. And then beyond that, the next majority of guests come from Florida. So that's about an 8-hour drive. So when you're talking with your guests, get to know them a little bit, find out where they're coming from, who they're coming with. So again, it could be a church group, it could be just a bunch of friends that are coming, could be a golf group. You never know. So get a few details and then find out who that customer is, and really start digging into the local businesses that you could possibly help, and they in turn could help you. There are also people like local chefs. They have events they do at maybe, for example, in Boone, there is a boutique hotel downtown Boone, and then they have the bar at the top, so you can watch the sunset and everything. Well, I'm sure there are times that they're going to be booked and they're going to need space for people to come. For example, if they did a wedding on the rooftop bar, which I don't know if this is allowed, but it's just a thought. If they do a wedding on the rooftop bar at sunset and they needed space for 22 people to sleep, then if you were to meet with that bar owner and start a relationship up, maybe they would recommend to the people that were coordinating this wedding and say, hey, I know this place that sleeps 22. Let me give you that information. So just think a little bit outside the box to figure out where you could be either A, spending your advertising dollar, or B, spending your time in order to find more bookings for your cabin. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'm going to be working on part 3 for you that will be out very soon. So again, I'm Theresa Robertson. My vacation rental is called Rich Summit View, and I look forward to helping you. Bye.